Kelly Cardigan is a trans woman on TikTok and recently got so controversial mostly because of this video right here.
So in America, we have this thing called freedom of speech. No one has to respect my pronouns. If I'm walking down the road and someone wants to call me he, him, I might be upset about it, but there's nothing I can do about it because that's people's First Amendment right. If I'm not offended, why does it seem like so many people in the community, particularly the non-binary community, are offended? Is it because a lot of you guys, the only transition that's taking place really is your pronouns? Is it because you take it so personally? Because to me, my transition and who I am is a lot more than my pronouns. I don't need a pronoun to define my entire existence.
Perfect video. I mean, she's so spot on. Notice how the trans people who say, I don't care if I get misgendered, I'm still me, are always the most passing trans people. As you can imagine, she received a lot of hate from the trans community, the non-binary community, so she made this video.
Happy Trans Day of Visibility to me, because this community is so one-sided. Like, what would you guys call it if a community doesn't let anyone else have a different opinion without telling them that it's hate? Because I feel like that's a 4-letter word that starts with a C. Just because my transition worked out at 15 and you did a transition as a minor that worked out does not mean it's gonna work that way for every kid. I need you guys to learn how to have an actual conversation instead of just saying I'm a transphobe. Why don't you actually bring some solid points for why you think a child under the age of 18 should be making permanent life-changing decisions, should be making a decision that's going to sterilize them for their whole life, because that's what you guys don't ever mention too. Even just being on puberty blockers gives you a very high chance of sterilization. Do you think a 14-year-old should be making that choice?
Again, this is just a perfect video. I do think that it's interesting that a person who transitioned as a minor is against minors transitioning, and I don't think that it's hypocritical at all. As she says in other videos, it was luck. It was pure luck that she's comfortable with her transition and doesn't regret it. It's not hypocritical because she knows more than anyone what it's like to be 15 and be on puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones. I don't know when she got surgeries done, but she knows what it's like. We gotta listen to people like her. We all know that it's a sensitive topic to talk about children transitioning, but what's even more sensitive to talk about is what happened recently in Nashville. I will not show the name or the face of the person who unalived 6 people recently in a Christian school. I'm also gonna use terms like unalived or maybe tools to unalive people instead of you know what, because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. The woman who unalived 6 people at the Christian school in Nashville identified as a he, him as a trans person, and trans activists focus more on being offended about the people misgendering her rather than condemning what really happened. And Kelly made some amazing points on that, so let's watch.
If you think me not using the correct pronouns for a child unaliver, if that's your main priority, I think you need to get your priorities straight, because I'm trans myself. I'm not transphobic. I'll respect anybody's pronouns, except if you unalive innocent children.
Exactly, and it should not be a discussion. Unfortunately, even though we all think that it's a no-brainer what Kelly just said, not all people agree with her. Let's hear from the trans community.
Being misgendered to a lot of trans people is the constant reminder that they are not only respected, but they are not safe. Also, in regards to what happened in Tennessee, the reason people are talking about not misgendering that person is because the people who are actively misgendering that person are doing it in order to villainize the trans community. They are trying to build an association between that individual's actions and the trans community in general. And with there already being so much propaganda as to why trans people are dangerous, that is so harmful.
You think it's harmful to misgender and to not respect an unaliver's pronouns? What is the matter with you? Oh, I know, you're brainwashed by this ideology and it's not good for anyone's mental health, so I know what's wrong with you. You know what's actually harmful? Unaliving people, unaliving children, innocent children, and innocent people in general. That's actually harmful and that's actually happening. So let's talk about what's actually happening instead of talking about hypothetical situations. I think we all can argue that one thing is more important than the other. Most of the people who are misgendering the unaliver from Tennessee is doing it because they don't want to respect an unaliver's pronouns. Not because they don't want trans people in general to not have any rights. That's all up in your head.
No, he was a man. The slogan is trans women are women, trans men are men. When you refer to a trans person by the gender they do not identify as, regardless of who that person is, and go, well, I'm not respecting them, you are saying that trans women are men and trans men are women, and you just call them by the genders they identify as to be nice.
That's exactly how it works. You cannot become a man if you're a woman. You cannot become a woman if you're a man. However, it is possible to live your life as the opposite sex, and your surroundings can choose if they want to acknowledge you socially as the opposite sex. A lot of the time, a trans person will get their pronouns and their identity respected because they act like a decent human being. But here we're dealing with a person who does not in any way deserve to be respected. It is simply not a fact that the person who unalived the people in Tennessee was a man. She was a woman. She wasn't even a trans guy. She was a lunatic. These ideologues are shooting themselves in the foot because what they're actually saying is the only way you can be on our side, support our ideology, is if you respect a child unaliver's pronouns. And if you don't, you're against us. If you don't do that, you're anti-trans, anti-LGBT, and a bad person. And that's so stupid of them because no one wants to do that. I mean, come on, people. Trans ideology is getting more and more extreme in my opinion, and I'm really worried.
And because of this incident, you might think to yourself, now people can focus on better regulation to, stop the violence. But no, unsurprisingly, people are more concerned with the fact that the was transgender. And this is giving all the conservatives on Twitter the perfect chance to connect transness to being dangerous, violent, or mentally unstable, when this incident has nothing to do with being trans.
Something doesn't add up here. You respect the child unaliver's pronouns and respect their identity, acknowledging them as a trans person when they're obviously not, but at the same time claiming that this has nothing to do with being trans. If this woman was just a lunatic, which she was, why is it so hard for you to say that this person was not trans? The tool that this woman used to unalive people that I cannot say on my channel is not the problem. The problem is always the person behind the tool. I'm pretty sure that these trans activists don't really care about the tool law. These people only care about themselves, and if you don't believe me, watch this video.
This sentiment could get me killed. I've been avoiding talking about this, but I'm going to talk about it now. I am a southern trans woman. I live in East Tennessee. I have not left my apartment since the news broke. And if previously I did not remotely have any fear presenting in public, I know I certainly do now. The ramifications of this event will spread like wildfire for trans people here in the South. This is going to become a targeted issue. And when I say targeted, I don't just mean by laws. There's a high chance that a lot of us are going to be targeted by hate groups and bigots in the streets. This comment reminds me that my life is forfeit if someone decides that I'm exactly the same as. I will never condone his actions. He was a racist. What he did was wrong. I feel for those victims and their families, and I so hope that they someday find some peace and comfort. But this comment reminds me that society was just looking for a reason to hate us even more. You want an excuse to remove us, to expel us, to end us, and I am legitimately afraid of what's going to come next.
I really want to make a comment on this video, but I have a hard time comprehending the level of narcissism. I'm almost speechless. This is not about you. You are safe. I cannot believe that we have to listen to people's imagination, to people's hypothetical situations, rather than understanding what just happened in real life. It's so unbelievably disgusting how this person made it all about themselves, when it wasn't about them. It was about 6 people actually being unalived, and it's not about you hypothetically not being alive. And maybe this person was condemning what happened in Nashville in the end of the video. However, they still called the person he, him, when these trans activists are trying to condemn what happened in Nashville, and at the same time are respecting the person who did its pronouns, you're not really condemning what happened. Oh, it's not good what happened, but that's what I hear. This is gonna sound harsh, but I don't think that these types of trans activists truly want to get rid of transphobia in society. I think they want to be victims all the time, even, disgustingly so, in this situation, in this tragedy. Because if they truly wanted to end transphobia in society, they can just choose not to respect and affirm an unaliver's pronouns and gender identity. When you think about it, it's not that hard.
They are going to be misgendering this person left and right. We do not need to give any legitimacy to their already ongoing hatred of the trans community. It needs to be reported accurately so that we can all understand what the actual motives were. A trans man committed this horrible crime.
Where's the respect for the victims and their families in this tragedy? Where is it? I really want to ask the trans activists I included in this video, will you be able to walk up to the victims' families and say, I know that you're upset and I'm sorry for your loss, but please don't misgender the person who took away your children. Okay, I'm gonna end the video because I'm getting really upset now. I'm gonna end this video by saying that it was really difficult for me to film it because I am so upset about what happened, and my heart goes out to the families, the victims' families. I hope that you understood the main message of this video. We cannot show any respect towards people who don't deserve respect. A huge thank you to Kelly Cardigan for speaking up about this. You're doing a great job, and you guys should follow her on social media. Thank you all for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, remember to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell. If you want, you can support me with a small donation under Super Thanks. It would mean the world to me, so I truly mean it when I say thank you. You can also become a member of this channel where I create exclusive content decided by you, so come join us. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Peace out.